Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and it's a really nice night, so I decided to sit outside. I'm actually recording this sort of Wednesday late evening. I think it's almost 8 o'clock or so. So this past weekend, I was like, okay, I really need to get a video shot and edited, and then it didn't get done. Seem to be having an unusual number of these this year, but my work schedule this week was a little strange, so it didn't really allow me a good amount of time to sit down and work on a video. But I was watching a lot of really interesting videos this week. First one was a talk on the STEAM education system from Will Wheaton. Put a link over here for that. Go check that out this week. It's about a 30-minute talk, well worth your time. The second one, which kind of started to really inspire this video, which was a video from the extra credits, go down here for this one, about how game design schools don't teach game design. They teach sort of like these tools and how to use tools, but they don't teach you really kind of core fundamentals of things. And kind of got me, they started to talk about doing and how important it is to have sort of a more liberal arts education, which is actually what I have, and so it sort of inspired my topic today for this week. And I was thinking, okay, I think I want to start generally just a new series on how to be an artist, but in a more philosophical sense. This isn't going to be how to draw. This is going to be how to be an artist that can push through things because you have sort of the right foundational education kind of principles and everything like that. So for this one, my tip is, if you want to be an artist, then you have to make art. Now I'm going to kind of get back to this liberal arts thing. In order to make art, in order to really want to make art and want to make something good, you have to experience a lot of different things. You can't just focus on art. You have to be interested in literature, in history, in other fields that are unique, not just to art, but to your other interests. And as an artist, you should have other interests. If you don't, that's going to be an issue. I love history. I love music. I love playing with making music. I love learning things, particularly about local history. And I love just going out and exploring, and going on hikes, just walking around, looking at stuff. Actually, the sun's setting right now, and it looks great. I love sunsets. I love waterfalls. I love the concepts of like weather patterns behind why clouds look the way they do. There's so much that I'm really interested in besides just art, and that interest drives my ability to make art. So back to this idea of, if you want to be an artist, make art. That sounds stupid, but I was actually thinking about a friend of mine, sort of an old friend of mine, that I graduated high school with. He went to film school, and I was talking to him back when we were both still in college, and I said, I think he was a sophomore or something, and I said, so how many films have you made? And he said, we haven't made any films yet. And I was like, what? I'm like, he went to one of the best film schools in the country. His sophomore year, he was not making films. I was like, you should have been making films since day one. You can't learn to be a filmmaker unless you're making films. I mean, it wasn't even like, here are the principles and we're doing the stuff on the side. Nothing. And I could not figure that out. And what was funny is, back then I was doing more films myself, and I'm like, I've made more films than you have. By the time this guy was in his senior year of film school, I had made more films, which is outrageous. So in many ways, I was a better filmmaker than he was. Now granted, he had more cinematic experience, he had more experience in camera work than I did, but I had like more field experience, and I think that was really, I thought that was really strange. And I think the same principle applies to art in many, many ways. If you are an artist and all you're doing is you're studying your fundamentals, which is, don't get me wrong, very important. But if you're just like doing drills and exercises, but if you're not doing projects, that doesn't help you. I'm actually working on a blog post this month, and probably going to be working on it next month too. It's called The Process, Not the Project, and that's a very different topic, but it's this idea of, unless you're actually making stuff, and not just saying like, okay, I'm just going to play it for a bit. You have to have a project, start it, and finish it, go all the way through and say, it's done. If you can't have enough projects to say, this project is done, this project is done, and all you have is a bunch of incomplete stuff, again, you're going to have problems. So I think to be an artist, to be somebody who either makes art for a living or really does it well as a hobby, you have to make art, and you have to make something you can call art. It's not always going to be good. Actually, I'd say for the first several years of making stuff, it's not going to be good at all. But as long as you like making stuff, as long as you have a passion to make art, you can be an artist, and you will be an artist, and in many ways you probably already are one. So that's sort of, I guess you could call this part one of this, how to be an artist. You have to have a diverse background. You have to be interested in things. And in being interested in things, you also have to really, really make stuff. Now, financial opportunities, left and right, you'd say, oh, I don't have access to anything. Doesn't matter. Scribble with charcoal or pencil, whatever you can get your hands on. Crayons, dirt cheap materials. I like nice things. I like saying it's important to have nice things. But if that's all you've got, use it and make stuff with it. You should never let your materials hold you back. And actually, in many ways, holding back on those materials will spark your creativity and force you to think through problems in many ways. But I think I'm getting further into another rant that I'll save for another day. But so that was my tip for this week. I will be back with regular tutorials next week. I just couldn't get anything really solid finished this week. There's probably next week I'm going to have a thing on drawing with colored pencils that I really want to get to. But I think this was really important to get off my chest and really kind of talk about. So just be interested in stuff, make stuff, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So for more tutorials, painting videos, and interesting philosophical, videos like this, subscribe to the channel. This has been from DMC Films and Cinema Block Studios. See you guys next time.